everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make baked chicken legs 2 ways, super easy. First thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 425. And what I'm doing here is I'm leaving a list of ingredients in the description box, but I'm making 7 chicken legs. You're going to need baking powder, salt, and depending on which topping you want to use, I'll go over the ingredients with you, okay? First thing you always want to do before you start cooking is wash your hands. And for this particular recipe, like I said, it's baked chicken legs. You can remove the skin if you want, or you can leave the skin. Either way, it's whatever you like. The baking soda and salt combination is what makes the skin crispy in the oven without being dry. It keeps the chicken nice and moist. What you want to do is you want to take a sheet pan that's big enough to hold a cooling rack, because you want to bake this on a cooling rack on a sheet pan, and you want to cover it with foil so that it's easy for cleanup. You know, I've told you guys that I'm going to teach you tips on how to clean with mobility issues. Cooking and cleaning with mobility issues is something I deal with every day. Part of that is using aluminum foil whenever I can to cut down on cleaning time on stuff, and I don't have to stand at the sink as much. And I don't like to put my pans in the dishwasher. I don't like to fill it up and have to run it as often. So I try to save money that way by hand washing them. What you want to do is you want to take a cooling rack and lay it over the aluminum foil covered baking sheet and just spray it with some cooking spray. And then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a bowl, a mixing bowl that can hold your chicken, and some baking powder. Okay, so for 7 legs I had was roughly about pound and a half of chicken. I needed 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and make sure it's baking powder, not baking soda. That's very important. And then a half a tablespoon of salt. And you just want to mix them together, and then what you want to do is you want to toss the chicken legs in there. That's it. Just mix it together real quick. And then I want to take I just do 3, 4, and then 3, which is really weird. The only reason I can think that there was 7 chicken legs in this pack is because there was an odd number, because usually we just do 6, so it would be 2 of each. But then I'll show you. I'm just going to leave one plain, and that was, Mom liked that one as well. So you just want to give it a good generous coat of the baking powder salt combination, and you know, just knock off the extra. You want to make sure it's coated nicely, but you don't want it to be, you know, overdone. And I think it's I've heard or read somewhere that it's like the acidity in the baking soda or something, that baking powder, excuse me, I gotta stop messing that up, that actually causes the chicken skin to get crispy, and the salt draws out the moisture, and that helps too, or something like that. But you know, I'm going super fast here because I'm trying to get it in for you guys, but
I know, hon.
And then what I usually do is, part of what helps me with my mobility
I appreciate that, though.
cleaning is I clean as I go. I do talk about that in my next video, which is cleaning up after dinner. But part of what really does help is clean as you go. Since I'm already having to wash my hands before I touch anything else, because that was just touching raw chicken, I figured I'd go ahead and throw the bowl in the dishwasher. Wipe off the counter of all of the, the stove of all the main debris. And then once I get the chicken in the oven, I'll go back out with the Windex disinfectant or Lysol disinfectant to clean up. Okay, and you want to bake this for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Did I tell you 425 in the beginning? Boy, I might have. But it's really just 400 degrees. So I'm using my Lysol pump, and I wanted to tell you some sad news. They don't seem to be making this anymore. I had bought 4 of them at the Dollar Tree, or 5 of them at the Dollar Tree last year, and because they were at the Dollar Tree, I was excited. And I have 2 more left, this one and 1 more. And one of the subscribers said, I need that, I need that. And when I went to go find a link for her, I found out they don't make it anymore, so I'm really sad about that. But after 20 minutes, I turn over each piece. If there's any sticking, which I did have 1 piece that did a tiny bit of sticking, just be careful the best you can. You want to try to take the skin with you. Oddly enough, I'm showing you guys how to make this, and I don't eat chicken skin, so it's really kind of funny. But, so then I set the timer for 10 more minutes, and while that's happening, we're going to go ahead and mix the two sauces. So what we're going to do is like a teriyaki sesame and then like a garlic butter. What you need for the teriyaki sesame is a half a cup of low sodium soy sauce. We're going to need a 1/4 cup of honey and a 1/3 cup brown sugar. And one of the tricks I learned is to spray the measuring cup. It's a glass measuring cup, and I'm going to use a rubber spatula, but to spray the measuring cup with cooking spray before you measure honey makes it that much easier to get the honey to come out. And of course, this is light brown sugar, and you want to pack it firmly as you usually do measure brown sugar that way. You can also substitute white sugar. Jim's teriyaki beef recipe has white sugar, but I thought that the brown sugar would be a nice little sweetness to add to the chicken. And now I'm using just a cereal spoon, or about a half a cereal spoon of garlic. That's to taste, so it depends on how much garlic you like. And then I'm pouring it in a saucepan, and I'm going to heat it up before we add the ginger and sesame oil. The amount of ginger that you like is also totally up to you. Mom doesn't really care for a lot of ginger. When Jim and I used to cook Chinese food at home before we moved in with Mom, we used to use much more ginger and fresh ginger, but she finds the bite of fresh ginger too harsh for her palate. So now what I'm going to do is we're just going to use just a pinch, and I'm cooking it on high, and I'm going to bring it to a boil, and I'm going to let it boil for a few minutes. But while I do, I'm going to get the other sauce started. I'm using a half a stick of butter and a large cereal spoon of the minced garlic. It's probably equivalent to 2 to 3 cloves of minced garlic, if you prefer fresh garlic. And I'm using 2 teaspoons of parsley flakes. So now that the teriyaki has started to boil, I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of sesame seeds. And stir and continue to boil, and it's going to start to thicken as it boils. And then stir the butter around. I actually put all this in the pot and I forgot to turn the pot on. That's why it's a little behind, but just keep stirring. Now you want to slightly brown your garlic. You don't want it to toast too much because it's going to cook in the oven some more. But actually that was a mistake that I made. I actually cooked it too long on the stove. But you just want to make a nice garlic butter. I like to cook it till it's a little bit clarified, which is basically the solids get cooked off a little bit. Alright, and I lowered it to medium, so it would just infuse that butter with all of that garlic. And then I'm just testing the thickness on this teriyaki. You want it to, you can see as I pull the spoon up, it starts to thicken up. Now I'm taking my pinch of ground ginger. That's why I ended up just using a tiny pinch. But again, that's totally up to you how much you like. And then I decided to add sesame oil to it. I just put a capful of sesame oil, which was probably around a teaspoon. I think the caps on those things, like the vanilla, I think is around a teaspoon. So turning that off and I didn't move it off the heat, which I should have. I should have turned it off, moved it off the heat, because I forgot electric stoves, they still stay hot. But like I said, I just added a capful of sesame oil to that sauce after it was off the heat. And now that we've made the 2 sauces, the timer's just about to go off. So what I decided to do for us is I made 3 sesame, 3 garlic butter, and then I left 1 plain. So this chicken has been cooking for 30 minutes, 20 minutes on one side, 10 on the other. Okay. And before I dip them, I want to turn them back over. Sorry, I'm giving the camera to my cameraman so he can see me dip them. I'm checking the temperature, and I want to make sure that the internal temperature is at least 165. It will continue to cook, and I think the internal temperature of chicken dark meat is supposed to be 175, but we're not done cooking it yet. So I think all the bacteria is cooked off by now, but so I want to show you there. I did overcook it a little bit, and I'm just taking each chicken leg and I'm rolling it in the garlic butter. You could also have added more butter to this. I noticed I cooked off way too much. I mean, I thought I cooked off too much butter. But you don't really need that much. This worked. And you're just going to roll each one. And then put them back on the same spot in the pan.
I figure we'll just heat up the rice-a-roni.
And I don't recommend doing that because those pieces got way burnt. I mean, they were parsley flakes too, so that's the part I forgot. I forgot I had parsley flakes in there, as I said to Mom. But now I'm going to do the same thing with the teriyaki. I'm just going to roll it in, all 3 of them. And then I'm not going to do anything more with the garlic butter right now. But I am going to put the teriyaki back on a low flame. So I've raised the temperature to 425 now, and I'm cooking it for 10 minutes, 10 more minutes. And I put the teriyaki back on the stove on low, and I've added another half a stick of butter. Actually, it was more like a third of a stick of butter to the leftover garlic to melt down, because I wanted to put a final coat on when they're done cooking. So cook that down, turn it off just to melt the butter. And then the same thing with the teriyaki. When it got a little bit thicker, I took it off the heat. And now that the 10 minutes are up, turn off all the stove, pressing all the wrong buttons. Now that the 10 minutes are up, I take it out. It smells delicious. It wants to set off the smoke alarm. That's what happens. But I decided to put them on 2 different serving plates, and I wanted to re-dip the garlic butter in. And because Mom doesn't really like her teriyaki saucy, I only re-dipped Jim's and mine in the teriyaki. I didn't re-dip Mom's in the teriyaki. But the garlic butter, she puts butter on everything, so I figured if the garlic butter one was a little saucy, that'd be okay. And that's what that one looks like. And now we're going to repeat, like I said, for 2 out of the 3 teriyaki ones. And then I brought the sauce to the table because I took off my skin, which in hindsight, I should have de-skinned mine. But then after I took off my skin, I dipped the whole chicken leg back in the teriyaki sauce, which was nice. And just let the extra drip. And then I decided not to dip Mom's again. Like I said, she doesn't really care for it to be very saucy. And I removed both of them from the heat and put that extra chicken. That's the one that I didn't sauce. Like she liked it. So I told her, I was telling all about how, what I decided to do. And then we just served it with rice-a-roni and some roasted Brussels sprouts. But you guys have at it. Have whichever you like. I also thought of barbecue sauce. This method would work really good if you dipped it in barbecue sauce or brushed barbecue sauce on as the 2 sauces. But I don't want to show you that because barbecue sauce is just from a bottle and anybody can do that, you know. So there you have it. As I waddle to the table. And then we enjoy our dinner. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video. Anybody you know might enjoy making this recipe. And as always, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.